Welcome back to Basic Bananas Radio, where we share tried and tested ways to grow your brand and get more customers. Everything from the latest in marketing and branding, right through to growing your team and creating an irresistible culture.
Hi, and welcome back. It's so good to have you here today. I am talking with Ameen Nassiri, who is the founder of SPS Worldwide, and he's been running that business for 24 years, and he's gone through multiple life cycles, which we're going to talk about today, and so many things to take away in this episode from a very seasoned entrepreneur and really awesome human. So let's jump straight in. Hey, Ameen, so great to have you here today.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this chat because you have been running a business for 24 years, SPS Worldwide. That in itself is a big
Indeed.
celebration. Yeah, there are not that many people that, make it past the 3-year mark,
Yep.
24 years in business. Can you just tell us a little bit about SPS Worldwide, which is your company, and you're
Sure.
based in South Florida, in the US.
Yes, based in South Florida, New York, and LA. And
Yeah.
we're a full service production company specializing in luxury visual merchandising, custom premium promotions, and large and grand scale brand activations. We produce everything from window displays to exterior facades to completely custom promotional items, as well as pop-up shops. And our clients are specifically high-end luxury as well as enterprise corporations. And as we like to say at SPS Worldwide, we bring your vision to life.
Yeah, and there's so much we can learn from working with that market segment. And also something else we're going to get into is life cycles and being 24 years in business, the different life cycles that you've gone through. How did you pick a business like that? Is your background in that space? How did you fall into or choose that industry?
I think the second part is exactly it. None of us choose this industry. We fall into it.
Yeah,
now I'm going to give my age away. I was in college and I wanted to be a business major. And I was always at the business school, or business classes. But I kept finding myself in the art department all the time. And then I just walked by one time and I saw that little tag said internship, marketing company. And back then you used to pull that little tag with the phone number on it. And I called them up and they said, come on over. And I literally started from the ground up by packing boxes, making silkscreen t-shirts, and running embroidery machines. And then they decided to hire me after I graduated. They offered me a position and started worked on the floor. And next thing I know, the owner said, you know what? I want you to be my assistant. Was his assistant, started learning the business. Then they said, we want you to become an import expert. Started learning about importing. And I drove that part of the business. And then they said, now go into sales. I said, okay. And I just, on a wing and a prayer. And then I picked up the phone and the first client I called was Boeing. And ignorance is bliss because I was 24 at the time and too young to know that I shouldn't be calling them. And they actually got the appointment and they were my first client at 24.
Incredible. And then how long did you stay? So how long did you stay at that company? And then from there, did you start your own or how did you make that jump? Because that's not that easy.
So that company I stayed with for 4 years. And then I got recruited by a large graphics company in Manhattan. And this is in the late 90s. And they wanted me to come up and learn all of your traditional print, your catalogs, brochures, mailers, large scale printing, vinyl, all of that. And then once they saw what I did, they asked me to build a promotional division within the company. And I started building that. And then unfortunately, the CEO got sick, who was the one person that I tremendously respected at this company. And as I say, the people behind him I did not have tremendous respect for. And I was literally sitting in the first sales meeting after the CEO had stepped down. And the president of the company said, I want all of you to go out and tell all of our customers why they're lucky they're working with us. I literally stood up in that moment. I said, this is the beginning of the end, and I'm not going to be around for it. Thank you. I quit. And I walked out. And he actually told me, he said, sit down. I said, I'm sorry, I don't work for you anymore. And then I walked to my office, and then it hit me. I was like, I just quit my job.
And you were only in your 20s, right? You were like,
I started sweating. I started panicking. I did all that. I was like, I just quit my job. And then I called my dad and I said, Dad, I just quit my job. He said, I was 30 years old at the time. And he said, good for you.
oh, what a
Good
great
for
dad.
me. He said, you don't need them. You know what you're doing. Go do it.
No way.
And that was it. I said,
And
you know what? You're right. He said, you just built all of this. Go build it for yourself. You don't need anybody. And
that is incredible.
And that was the spark that lit me. And from that point on, I started SPS in September 1, 2001.
That's such a great story. Is your dad entrepreneurial? Because to have parents that are, a dad or a mom that is so encouraging is really cool.
Believe it or not, my dad he was a doctor, but he owned several other businesses, was also involved in, bought and sold real estate, was involved in the stock market. So he did other things as well, was definitely a business-minded person, but he was a doctor.
Really cool.
But yes, he would definitely instilled the entrepreneurial spirit in me. I believe that's what he wanted most for me, is to be, because he used to say, find your passion, dig deep into it, learn everything you can, and don't worry about the rest. It'll all come, but be the best that you can be, that you're passionate about.
Such great.
Because when you're passionate, you have a career. When you work for $1, you have a job.
That is such great advice, right up here for listeners. I really believe in that too. Be the best that you can be,
and strive to be the best. And that's what I've done with SPS. And believe it or not, I started as a solopreneur for a year and a half, because at that point, I didn't know how to read a P&L. I didn't know how to read a balance sheet. I didn't know any of those things of running a business. So I just learned how to run a business, what it took. And then I started hiring. And believe it or not, my third hire still is with me today, 22 years later.
How cool is that? What's their position?
Believe it or not, this person started as a bike back in Manhattan. We had bike messengers back then that would deliver the samples and packages back and forth. They started as a bike messenger. And I just saw potential in this person. And I kept giving them more and more tasks, built them up. And today, this person is my personal right arm.
You're true, I see.
Yep, 100%.
So now 24 years, and we talked a little bit before we hit record about life cycles. And I feel like this is something some of our listeners will resonate with, and maybe will really make them feel a bit better just having the language to go, oh, okay, so that's what's happening. So you mentioned that 24 years, you've gone through 5 life cycles. You mentioned they're getting shorter. Tell us a little bit about those life cycles, and what does a life cycle mean? What are maybe the warning signals? What do we need to do as entrepreneurs, and which one are you in now? So lots of different questions, all packed into one. You can just go for it.
Well, I will say that, life cycles, when I started the business in 2001, generally were about 5-year life cycles. Everybody kind of rotated on that 5 years. 3 years, things started to change. You'd start putting products, people, more technology into place, and then you would start to scale or plateau, then start scaling back up as you adapted to that life cycle. And generally, the warning signs or the signals are you see different products, different usage, different technologies, different ways of producing. And not only that, the programs getting bigger, bolder from look at 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015 to 2020, 2025. You just see things that are just, I mean, look at the Sphere in Las Vegas. That's a shining example of going huge. And that's where, so as we've evolved over the years, even as a mature business, you know, people will say 24 years, you're a mature business. Business should be just walking through your door. We still face a lot of the same challenges. We've obviously learned how to deal with them and recognize the signs and know when it's time before we've crossed the line. We want to be ahead of the line saying we're going to start implementing these changes now. And honestly, AI has been a catalyst towards change, but I do not believe, and everybody that's listening, I had FOMO for so much. I thought AI was going to eat my business and eat us all alive and this and that. And I recognized that if I stuck true to my core of what we are really dialed into, and that's our craftsmanship and what we bring. And if you tally up everybody at the company, we have over 300 years of experience in this industry. And we've seen it all and be able to react on site when you're producing a program, when you're installing, it's not fitting right, knowing how to make the changes. That expertise doesn't come without having gone through these things. And so as you see these things changing and people adapting to new technologies, and as technology is accelerating at the pace where we thought we knew it was going to be fast, but I know a lot of people didn't expect it to be this fast. So you have to stay ahead of the curve. And even at 24-year-old company, we are right now, we're completely stripping down what we've done, because what got us here will not get us there.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry. And so just to speak about that and knowing that and recognizing that it's not that we perfected all these AI tools and this and that. We're implementing them, but we're moving. And that's the thing. I will tell any other business owner, especially people that are starting out, if you sit around and wait, no, you take action.
Such good advice. And I feel like there are life cycles that are affecting all of us. So right now, this life cycle of AI technology accelerating is affecting all of us. And then there are life cycles that are industry specific. And for you in particular, we had COVID and how that affected the retail industry. So there was a shift already with COVID. Should we talk a little bit about how that shift has changed your industry and what we need to, the retail industry, because you also obviously mentioned, the normal shopping experience, going to a mall, buying stuff is almost a dinosaur.
Absolutely. I mean, I will tell you, COVID really did shift the landscape of retailing. And the days of going to the mall with the family and walking through, I personally believe are dinosaur days. Of course, you're going to have your flagship stores in your major cities because that's a statement. Having the Louis Vuitton Tower, having the Gucci Tower, the Valentino Tower, right on Fifth Avenue, right on Madison Avenue, or down here in Miami in the Design District, or on Rodeo Drive in LA, it's a statement. We are Lux, we are here, and we're here because we belong here. But what COVID has done is actually, it's the purchaser age is actually shifting. It has completely shifted. I would say that from pre-COVID, everything was image, carrying this particular product or this brand or what have you. Now it's gone to authenticity.
Mhm.
People are more gravitated towards more authentic rather than just the label on it. Of course, there are the people that enjoy the label, and
Mm.
of course, those brands, but the experience and the authenticity, people want more experience in their shopping. They just don't want to go to a mall and this and that. They want they want all of it, and they want that full on experience. And what I will say is brands are also responding to their buyers' demographics, because if you look at visual directors, I mean, you have like Pharrell Williams, visual
Mhm.
director for Louis Vuitton. I mean, that's a whole different than 20 years ago than what we're looking at today. And and these luxury brands are responding, and they're also responding to in a way that the modeling is now the pop-up store.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is testing markets, because your typical malls are empty. So now they're testing out markets, and they're creating pop-ups. And that's when you have events. Could be anywhere. I mean, from any of your major cities to Wynwood down here in Miami, or up in Soho. Again, there are plenty of shopping in Soho, but I've seen pop-ups right on 14th Street. I've seen pop-ups right down here in the middle of Wynwood. And
Yeah.
they're testing the market, seeing how much, and also they'll shift. They'll go down to Dadeland and see how Dadeland performs. So they're able to micro test markets.
Yeah, really interesting. And something else that you mentioned, which is interesting, and I'm definitely seeing that as a trend from, it's about the labels, and as you said, it's about the image to now more authenticity. You see that on social media too, in the past it was all about the perfect image, the perfect grid, and now we're moving more to actually no, it's about being real, which is cool. I'm really excited about this phase. I'm just wondering how the brands that you work with, like the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, etc., they are all about image. So how are they tapping into authenticity?
By getting more authentic. And I will tell you, they're actually telling their story more now.
That's
And
good.
now, because it's all about the story, people want to know. And you know what? We, I have to say, we cannot have this conversation today without honoring the life and legacy of Giorgio Armani. Unfortunately, we lost a fashion icon today, a true
Oh, today?
trailblazer. Yes,
Oh, I didn't even
today.
see the news yet.
Yes,
Oh,
unfortunately, Giorgio Armani passed away at 91. But and I'm not going to get into his story. I encourage all of you, read his story. It's amazing, and it is truly inspirational.
wow. I
But
haven't seen the news yet. So 5th of September or 4th of September in
4th
your
of September in the US.
4th of September. So when we're recording this episode, let's honor Giorgio Armani. I have seen some of his story. Incredible, incredible visionary businessman, human being. So yes, oh wow, I didn't see the news yet. So thank you for sharing that and honoring this icon. Yeah.
Absolute icon. But like I said, I mean, the with retailing, it's now the authenticity. The brands want to tell the story more. They're making their displays more interactive. They're making, even the displays where you can walk into, touch, feel, experience a product within an environment. And they're paying more attention to, they always paid attention to the environment of the store, but now really honing in on how you feel when you walk through the door. Because again, authenticity evokes emotion, and the emotion, and let's be real, high-end luxury goods are typically emotional purchases.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what you try to evoke, that emotion, that feeling.
Yeah, and a really good point here for our listeners to think about that same question, whether you're in a luxury space or not, is how do you want your people to feel when they interact with you? How do you want them to feel? What emotions do you want them to feel when they read your stuff, engage with your social media, talk to you? Such an important, crucial question we forget often.
I think that's probably one of the most important aspects that any business should pay attention to, is that when you allow a client to walk through your door, they need to feel like they're at home. And when they feel that way, there you have instant connection, you have instant trust, but you have to be able to back it up. You got to be able to truly execute and create their vision or bring their vision to life, and not only meet it, but exceed it, because that is the expectation. And that's what we strive to do every day. We don't want to do 100%. We want to go 130%.
Yeah, that's another one. I was going to say, as we're getting to the close of this episode, what are some of your personal favorite pieces of advice that you would love to, as a seasoned entrepreneurs, what are some things that you would love our listeners to walk away with? One of them, as you said just now, is give everything 130, 150%.
I'm going to tell you what one bit of advice that I would love to share is that, and I'll say that I made this mistake early. I'd fall in love with, oh my God, I just came up with the perfect piece for this program. And I would focus on that one piece and I would take it to them and they would be like, it's good, but can we do this? Can we do that? Can we? And then I'd go back, come back and refine. And then that all takes time. And then you start, and again, high-end luxury, they're meeting a calendar date for a launch. So that launch is not moving and you're losing time. So what I would say is be flexible, be open-minded, and come with more to say no to. And everyone says more to say no to because you want choices, so they say yes to one.
Yeah.
So think outside the box and present multiple options. Always give your clients a choice. Don't give them what you think is best for them.
Yeah, and often, as you say, often what we think is best, and we do lots of tests using AI to test different campaign angles, and often what I think is the best angle is the worst angle, but we don't know that until we test it, right?
It's so true. I mean, that's why I said I would run through. I'm like, I figured it out. And they were like, it's good.
And that's the cool thing, and we're here to admit this because I've been in marketing for 20 plus years and I get it wrong still. You've been running your business for 24 years and you still get it wrong, as in it's not always what you think. And same for me too. And I'm the first to admit that.
I'm going to tell you the one thing I always tell everybody: if you think you know everything in your industry, it's time for a new industry.
Oh, I like that.
Because we can always be learning, always be growing, and as we say at SPS, always going bigger.
Awesome.
When I still remember the first time we wrapped a building, we were putting vinyl on the side, putting this and that. They said, well, can you wrap the entire building? I said, absolutely. Then I turned around and said, I got to go figure out how to wrap a building. But I knew I could do it. In my mind, I knew the steps to take it, but educate yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to be a little, not reckless, but you have to be a little bit fearless.
Fearless. I love that. That's one of my favorite things to talk about is courage, which is another whole other topic. Really helpful. Thank you so much. I mean, so maybe the challenge you can leave people with is have a little think about, you're definitely in a new life cycle with AI, but how are you going to take advantage, capitalize on this new life cycle that we're all in now in your own business? I think that's a really good challenge to leave people with. What do you think?
Well, what we're doing is I'm going to tell you that we are really diving into these tools and we are utilizing them to complement, to accelerate in speed and able to bring our delivery to our client and more accurately, but we're not losing the human touch. That that the connection, as soon as you leave that, that's what we say, AI with human interaction will lead to a success.
So crucial. Thank you so much. I mean, for anyone who wants to connect with you, should we send them to your LinkedIn profile, or where would
Absolutely. You can find us on LinkedIn or Instagram, Facebook, as well as our website, spsworldwide.com.
Great. And I'll link in the show notes to your personal LinkedIn too, Ameen Nassiri. For anyone who wants to connect with you there, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, it's been really great to connect with you today.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
To get more from Basic Bananas and to learn new ways to grow your business with clever marketing, visit basicbananas.com.